What's going on, everybody? Darrell the Whiskey Saint back on another Wednesday, and we're going to get into a new pour, man. As you can see by the title, is this going to be the best one yet? Unfortunately, don't have a bottle, but a friend of mine was gracious enough to bless me with a sample of the newest George T. Stagg for 2024. I believe I looked briefly, and the proof was 136.1. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments. But I'm pretty excited, man. This thing, as always, about 15 years old, sometimes a little older. Pretty dark by the color on this. So I'm really excited to give it a try. If you're new to our channel, hit that like and subscribe. I'm going to kick the show off. Cheers. We are back, and we're just going to dive right in. Crack this open, pour a little bit, and see if this was the best one yet. I will say I've had a good amount of George T. Staggs. Trying to think what my favorite may be. It might have been 2012 or 2016. Both of those were hazmats. 2017 was really good too. Kind of fell off in 19 with a lower proof, but the flavor was still there. 2020 was really good. You're never really going to get a bad one, right? It's just some are definitely better than the others. But last year was a pretty nice batch as well. So let's see if they follow suit or if they didn't. Swirl it up a bit, go in the nose. Let you guys know what I think, then on the palate. Cheers to you all. Definitely get a sense of barrel proof on the nose. That kind of like lit me up a little bit. It was a little tingly. Granted, only had like 2 small pours today that were a lot lower proof than this. So we'll see how this goes. But that's like hitting me from right here. Not even all the way on my nose, and it's still tingling. Do get a nice sense of oak, but it's not the oak that I'm used to on a George T. Stagg. Typically you still get that berry vibe in a sense, right? Grapey vibe. I don't really have that. Like you get a little bit of citrus on like the tail end of the nose, but there's a lot of spice up front on this. Nice oak. It's funky, but dense as well. But yeah, it's like a citrusy, funky oak. More citrus than like the berry notes I typically get on Buffalo Trace products. Enough on the nose. I'm thirsty. Let's taste this. Cheers, everybody. Hopefully my palate's intact. I was questioning it a little earlier today while doing a blind. But like I'm definitely getting the flavors, but it seems a little lackluster on the palate. It doesn't really seem, like it's a 15-year-old product or so. Off that first sip, I'm gonna take another sip, but I did get more of the Buffalo Trace vibes, a little grapey on the palate with some spice, but not the conventional palette that I usually really like on George T. Staggs. Interesting, because I heard some really good things about the 2024 one. Let's take another sip, see if that changes. Second sip is definitely better, but this would fool me because I wouldn't immediately think Stagg. like the Stag Juniors or previously Stag Juniors, the Stags now, they have more of that Buffalo Trace, nice, like pronounced grapey note that I really, really like. This, this I don't really get it much. And that's like one of the big things I really, really like on those. This is interesting. Doesn't really nose like a Jersey Stag. Like I would really be fooled. Like if somebody poured this blind, I don't think I would think Buffalo Trace, nor would I think it's a GTS. Like it's good, don't get me wrong, but I think I've had a good amount of batches that were better than this one. This is first impression. The bottle has opened up a bit because my buddy's bottle had some pores taken out of it. So it's not like it's a fresh crack by any means, but it's just not wowing me. And typically I get wowed by them. Let's take one more sip. It's definitely good, but doesn't taste like any Stag that I've had. Like, not really even remotely close for me, to be honest. Like, I haven't had one in a while. I got a couple back there, which I could probably do like a quick comparison if need be, but this just doesn't strike me as Stag. And I'm usually pretty good at picking up, certain notes that I might have had before, or just similarities between similar whiskeys. But yeah, this isn't even bringing me down that vibe. Um, so yeah, not the best one yet, but it is good. Am I going to be searching out a bottle if I get them at retail? Like they do come across over here, so maybe, but there's no way I would be paying secondary costs for these. I would say max if I was to see one maybe laying around like maybe $300, and even that's kind of pushing it. To be honest, like I enjoy like a Russell's 15 right at that price point a lot more than this. And there's a lot of other bottles that are probably cheaper than $300 that I would prefer, if I was going to be looking at spending that. Right. But don't get me wrong, it's good whiskey, guys, but I don't think this is one of those crazy batches to be like on the prowl for personally. But if you had it, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, out of the batches that you had, what's been your favorite? Like I said, I think mine's is up between 2012 and 2016. I probably had about 8 batches or so, but some of the early ones I heard were the really, really good ones, and I haven't really had any of those. Um, so maybe one day, hit like a nice bar that has, some unicorn stuff and maybe dive into them then. But yeah, this is good. Just nothing really wowed me on it. But I do appreciate you, Greg. Probably should have shouted you out earlier. Buddy Greg West, local buddy over here. Let me pour a sample of that when we were at a meetup this past weekend. So definitely appreciate you, buddy. If you're watching this, thank you. But if not, nonetheless, kind of wanted to throw a shot out there for you. But we're going to end this, guys. I got some more whiskey to drink. It's not going to be some GTS. Stay tuned for the next couple videos. Next few Wednesdays, got some interesting stuff in the works. So, cheers, guys. We're going to end this here.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskeys.